tribalism and ethnic divide is, or rather, has been one of the major reasons why people hate in the country because the tensions among ethnic groups, as we already know, has led to a civil war once. So, like, things are really heated up when it comes to the, diversity of ethnicities in the country.
The following is a conversation with Chimaobi Ekuma. In this conversation, we talk in details about confidence, about feeling inferior to others, inequality, and why we should respect people's cultures. This conversation was a really, really nice one, and we explored a lot of areas. It starts now. Some months ago, you were talking about tribal tribalism and why in Nigeria some people look at themselves as more important than other and people and selfish interest. Yes, I can remember. Basically, I think what I can actually I remember from there and what I got from that day. You're talking like you're saying that here in Nigeria, example, the some Igbo people look at Hausa people also as like they're smarter than them, so probably they deserve more, and then they will not be able to treat them equally because of that superiority. Let me just say superiority complex. Yeah. So expand on that. And actually, how did you? What was the research on the subject?
So actually, what we were talking about that day is why do people hate? And that's when the question, or rather the issue of tribalism came in. Tribalism and ethnic divide is, or rather has been one of the major reasons why people hate in the country because the tensions among ethnic groups, as we already know, has led to a civil war once. So, like, things are really heated up when it comes to the, diversity of ethnicities in the country. And one of the reasons why this is the case is because you notice right from the time of colonialism that the white people all played the game of divide and rule. So trying to protect their interests and everything, they had to break us up because a united front, a united people would definitely be a threat to them. So they had to break us up, cause all this divide and tension among us, in order to secure that rule
Yeah,
and
but they
everything.
they, they broke us up um belief wise, not necessarily geographically because they I think
But
Lord
actually they
Lugard
did.
amalgamated the northern and the southern part of Nigeria.
So that was geographically, if you look at it. Because the divide was geographic, because in that time you see that there was the Hausa kingdom, there was the Yoruba nation, and there was the Igbo
Igbo people.
kingdom. So everyone was literally separated at at the point. So it was quite an ethnic separation and a geographical separation because I mean they were all together in their own side.
Don't
As
get
we see
thing.
Nigeria, that we have the north, the south. So like we've always been together. People from the same ethnic group have always been together until after colonialism. I think that's when people started going into different places. But from the time people from the same tribes were all together. You had all the Hausas living in the north, or majority of them living in the north, majority of the Igbos living in the east, and the Yorubas
Yeah,
in the
and
west.
the troubling thing is that like, regardless of the fact that we started going into other people's previous homes or previous villages, localities, towns to live, like the Igbos go to the outside land, to
Yeah.
the outside land come to like we don't go there with a sense of identity as a Nigerian. You go there as an Igbo man, and the Hausa man comes to the south as an Hausa man, as a
Yeah.
Fulani man. Like he just doesn't feel like it's part of this greater Nigeria. No, everyone is going there with his own.
That's because right from time we've always, we've not been taught to think of one Nigeria. We were taught that our first allegiance is with our culture, our tribe, where we're from. That is where we first have responsibility and obligation to. That is why people believe that their first obligation is to their state or their village before they have any obligation to the whole country, Nigeria.
Well,
That's also why you see that people tend to favor people from their place more, because at the end of the day they want to do what is in their mind. They are looking at out for the good of their people,
at
and
the
that
cost
their
of the
people is just that their immediate ethnic group. Those are their people, and that is, the idea and mindset that we have been brought up with as Nigerians. Like the issue of unity is is just something we say if you think about
yes,
it.
but and another thing is like actually, um, where should your solidarity actually lie? Is it not like between your family first, then before you get to your village, then the community, then the society, the bigger country and the nation? Like I think it's just like to the first, then family, village, community, city, town, nation. That's how basically everyone thinks.
Yes, you should have solidarity to your kingsmen, your immediate, where you come from. But then there's a difference between, solidarity and having a sense of national consciousness and unity, because national consciousness and unity, it means putting, the nation first. Because at the end of the day, even your village is dependent on
On
the
the nation.
success of the nation. Now, if the nation is being ruled, or if the policies there are, quite repressive, it's going to, consequently go down and affect you and your people in that local village. Because, I mean, that is like the seat of power is national. So, I mean,
Yeah, but the pre-colonial times before then, like everyone, they were all governing themselves. The Hausas were governing themselves. The Igbos were governing themselves. The Yorubas were governing themselves, and there were other little ethnic groups. We're not just mentioning those ones because, like, the Hausa, Igbo, and Yoruba are the three major ethnic groups. And then, while they were governing themselves, they had no sense of because you see, we were not taught to have this national consciousness. They thought nothing about Nigeria. There was nothing like that then. The Igbos thought nothing about the Hausas and the Yorubas, nothing like that. The Yorubas, similarly, they thought only themselves. And then they quickly, or in a bid for Lugard to ease in his administration and gets much more from the country as a business. In fact, because that's what was created, a business. He prematurely joined
came
all three of
together.
us together. And now, that's national consciousness that we don't have. Like, is that really something that we were not taught, or we I don't want to use the word forced to have, like, because they want us to have it in. It sounds fictional, like I'm Nigerian. When you just brought, just imagine you bring, I just brought you and then you bring me and you want us to cooperate. Like, cooperation it doesn't work that way. So like, that's where I'm like, is it whose fault? I'm not trying to blame anyone, but I know we've been together for the past
Okay, now
60 or
let me
70
ask
years.
you a question. Is the US made up of one particular
No,
group?
no, no. They had their own civil
Exactly,
war too.
exactly. So I think the problem is not Lord Lugard. Well, he is at fault because he just came up and joined three groups of people who have no real
Cultural.
connection, or who have no history, real history together. You just join them together. So that was, I think, a bad move. But then thinking about it, moving forward, we could have changed things around. It's just that people, like, at the whole point, at the end of the day, things boil down to leaders, people who have been in charge. Everyone is, no one really is looking out for the good of the country. Everyone else is fighting for
Selfish.
themselves. So, like, the kind of things they should have done to, I mean, eradicate these issues that you're pointing out, they didn't do them because they didn't have any foresight. They didn't even have any knowledge of it. They weren't governing for the sake of governing. They were governing for the sake of, living like the colonial masters they had been envious of.
Yeah, about the same time, Gowon made an attempt to bring us to bring back this national consciousness. I think after the Biafran War, he brought about the three R's: reconciliation, rehabilitation, and it was all about. Now that's when the NYSC program was brought to. People from the north travel to the south and serve there. People from the south go to the north. People mix up together, get married, and they were even then when you know that now you come to the south and you see a lady there and you guys get married. The government were helping newly married couples in such situations to get housing, like lots of benefits around, so that at least we can see ourselves as one again. But like in the long run, like why didn't that really work out to give us a sense of identity?
Well, it's not easy to remove all those ideals and things that have been ingrained in someone for years and years. It's like the steps into taking or getting rid of those beliefs have to be consistent and, relentless if you actually want to get results. But then in Nigeria, these things are not really implemented properly. So when they start to see a slight bit of improvement, they relax, and then the matter worsens again. And then they now try to bring up, those same old techniques they used, and they might not be so, effective at this time. But then when they now get the effective ones, they see a little result and then they slack off again. So like that's not what we need. We need it to be continuous. Like what's it consistent? Consistency. You just have to follow it through and not just stop because there's a little green light. Like you have to continue so that you keep up the, you know, you fuel the fire, if that's a better way of putting it.
Yeah, do you think this current generation, like our generation, has a much more personal feeling of national consciousness than the previous than our fathers and our grandfathers?
Well, not really that we're not really more conscious. It's just that we're more exposed. So, we know what will go wrong if we don't come together and work together.
Biafra too.
We know, yeah,
Biafra war too.
we know what will happen, and we've already seen, like, we've suffered the consequences of all this
1960s,
repression
1970s.
and everything. So, more unlike the other generation, I think the thing with our generation is that it's hard to keep us quiet, and and you know, with our generation, it's very easy to share that spark. Like once one person has that flame going, it's very easy to share it and set up a spark in the next person who carries it on, who carries it on, who carries it on. I think what we need Nigerians actually is ginger. We just need someone to give us a push to do something, and once one person goes ahead, you see trillions of people moving behind them.
Oh, there was ginger during the EndSars protest.
In peaceful protests last night in the country's largest city, Lagos. For weeks now, there have been demonstrations against police brutality across Africa's most populous country. Protesters accuse the now disbanded Special Anti-Robbery Squad, or SARS, of torture. Nigeria's president has appealed for calm while the army has denied any involvement. An indefinite curfew has been imposed on several regions, including Lagos.
Yeah,
So,
and
and then
that's
the nitty by the board and, and everyone
yeah.
went their separate ways. And now back to so like the ginger itself wasn't even sustained.
Actually, it was. They did something. They really, even after the shooting, I think the shooting and the fact that people were really together, that was one of the reasons why we had a lot of recognition during the period. And that recognition didn't just end at recognition, it also gave the Nigerian government a nudge to actually do
Step up.
something, and they did something. I mean, I don't see SARS anymore that much, and I don't hear about SARS related issues that much, and cases of like it happens, but not as much as before. So I think, yeah, we actually got them to do something positive and do something better.
All right. Why should we respect other people's culture? And why should we basically regardless of our selfishness, why should we give room for other people to prosper?
Would you like for me to help you prosper?
Sure.
Do you want me to respect your culture?
Sure.
So why shouldn't you respect the next? I mean, life is, there's no really very big reason to overcomplicate this matter by thinking too much. Why should I? Why should I? First of all, think, how do I want to be treated? Once you think of that, that's how you should treat the next person.
But when you're in a position of power, you don't. I think it's called superiority complex. Like now, look at Trump's tweets about Africans, and he he's totally detached. This guy just insults. It's like these guys are just idiots and blah blah blah. He has nothing to lose.
Because that's someone who is not informed. That's someone who, I mean, you can't blame him. He is a white man. He is, a capitalist. Is benefiting from that capitalist economy. Like he's literally the depiction of the white privileged man. So you really can't, put too much attention on what he says. He lacks foresight. Not really foresight, but let's just say he is dumb.
But that's happening people in Nigeria. See their fellow Nigerians.
Yeah.
Like once you are in a position of power, you're earning a lot of money, or you're in a better school. Like other people are now smaller to
I mean,
you.
it's the money. That's what money does. It's not just a matter, even for people of the same, culture. Like, there's some people that once they get money, they get too crazed, and, they don't, everyone else becomes less to them or lower than they are. But, I mean, that's not the right mentality, but it is what it is. At the end of the day, you just have to keep on with your thing.
No, I was watching one podcast some days ago, and this guy he was like the only thing that because capitalism basically has to do with rich and poor. Only few, I think it's called the Pareto principle. At the end of the day, only few people will actually win. Like that's how the whole structure is designed. And then the people that are the losers, then what do you do about them? I think he was saying that the only thing that can be done about those people is um equality of opportunity, and secondly um generosity. Like those who are higher should be much more generous with their resources, wealth, connections, whatever. But the thing is this: equality of opportunity, right? How, like, in a country like Nigeria, where you can always find ways to cut corners, as far as like you are a little bit influential, or you have some influential friends or family friends or neighbors, or in fact, once or you're in an influential school, once you have some little bit of influence, you can always get into places that you are not even actually you're not actually well suited for. Now, when this happens and the people who are actually suited for these positions, like they have all the credits, when I am chosen before these guys, how in this case, how would you actually define equality of opportunity?
You've already said what is going on. There is no equality of opportunity. I mean, maybe nowadays you see it in, some private businesses, but I mean, it's back to what we said. People would rather, you know, help those who are from where they are, or those who have something they would, give to them in return. The heart of man is selfish. I mean, you have to think of yourself first. That's basically how the natural man thinks.
Oh,
So, going to equality of opportunity, that's mainly going on in, private sectors where they actually value experience and qualification, and, in many of the Western countries where your qualifications actually are what
counts.
matters.
So now how can we be less selfish?
Pray to God.
No, actually, how do you think we can actually be less selfish?
There's no one answer to that. How can you be less selfish?
How can I be less selfish?
You just have to pray to God and tell
Oh,
Him to touch
oh,
your soul.
that sounds like I'm very wicked. That's
Yeah.
more like what it sounds like. Uh,
Because I mean, a selfish person is a selfish person. I don't see any way to, you can take that out of that person.
oh, I
It
just
has
feel.
to be spiritual help.
Well, I just feel like we should have more empathy and compassion toward others. Now, look at this story in the Bible. There was a judge. There was this judge, and there was this lady. This lady lost her husband, and she always went back to. She always went to the judge for him to help her to get her husband's properties back. And the judge kept dismissing her like, why is this woman disturbing me? But every day she went and knelt and begged this man. And at a point, this man was like, every day this lady, let me give her what she wants. Why I'm bringing this story now is I came back. How can we be less selfish? This guy has his activities for the day. He has his programs. He has a life to live. He has bills to pay. He has things to do. He has no business with this woman. By the way, he's offering a pro bono service, a free service. Now, I can say this man is selfish in the sense that he's following his own. He's going for his own for his own activities and pursuing his own dreams. And while this little guy here is disturbing me, but this lady persisted and persisted and persisted, and she finally was able to crack him, and he helped her. Currently, like in our current society, what kind of situation can you relate that to, and how do you think that can play in the sense of the big selfish guy and the little guy who has no chance or little opportunity or basically nothing? In the case of Nigeria, how do you think like in our society basically someone with zero opportunity?
That woman, if this story you gave is in Nigeria, the truth is that that woman, the second time she's going to meet the judge, his police and orderly will stop her, beat her, and drop her out by the roadside. Because, I mean, you're trying to say disturb them, disturb them, disturb them. But you need to remember that some people in Nigeria actually have heart of stone, like devil heart. Yeah, that's the truth. And there's no amount of tears, there's no amount of persistence that can make them change their mind. So, what next do you do in that situation? I mean, that's why I said, like, I know it might have sounded as a joke, or
God.
it sounds funny, but if you're a Christian, if you're a Muslim, pray to whoever you believe in to touch the heart of that person, because that's the only way it can be done. Like there's no cure for selfishness. Because I mean, when you say we should be more empathetic, how can you make someone to be more empathetic towards another person? You can't really control someone's emotions. I trying to guilt trip the person, like that's still trying to play with emotions, like it's not certain. So you, like, at the end of the day, is just, what I can say is, if not pray, then you start from the young generation. Try to teach them young. I mean, that's the best way to go. Catch their minds young, teach them. Otherwise,
Service.
yeah.
Yeah, actually, I like this point you mentioned about um praying and then said probably their mind can be loosened. But now, um, you're praying for what is not yours, what is in another man's hands, and what he has no obligation to give to you. The, I know the better angle that there's this quote by Nietzsche, Friedrich Nietzsche. He says, "You corrupt a youth by teaching him to value the opinion of others and his own little social circle for himself or his family more than the rest of the world. That's the easiest way to corrupt the youth. Basically, if I want to get something from this guy, this big man now, and I can't, and he can find a way and get to his child, like, can you help me tell your dad to fix me? Yo, I don't know, find a way, blah blah. In Nigeria or generally, the politicians and all these guys are they're killing and the people that shoot and all that. Many of these guys, their children talk to them and they're like, Daddy, can we basically fix this road? Like they're in power. And that alone like actually melts your heart and they actually like start thinking, well again. Because the ordinary man telling them they have no affiliation to that guy. But when it comes from a closed one, or basically, I just think we should teach people service, like service. When I mean service, service from one's heart that we should serve others. Because I think if reading the Bible, Jesus was like, if you want to be first, you have to be last. You have to serve others, and then you'll be put on top. Here, service is really really underrated. People like most people don't really care about other people, and even they don't even serve their own selves well. They only serve themselves in anything that has to do with short-term profit. Like long-term profit is something that we don't really see. That's why even when you go for elections and all that stuff, and they bring like 5,000 or 10,000 there, like I give you new money now, and I tell you, to vote Labour Party, you happily, gladly vote, and in 2, 3, 4 days, you finish the whole money, and this guy remains in power for 8 years. But then, if we actually learn service to our nation, like how to think of others' well-being before ours. Obviously, most of these things are happening now would not because why would why would I have be given a contract to fix these roads that my children and other people will pass and I pocket the money and use it to do whatever I want to do? Like if I'm thinking service, if I'm thinking nationhood, if I'm thinking the betterment of other people, I'll be much more kind and liberal in my and disciplined in my pursuits. You get the angle I'm coming from. So this guy, we started from this guy in the Bible was calm. I don't know. He helped this woman out of frustration. Frustration. Probably that's the word. But in a normal setting, like you see, most Nigerians are their hearts are blocked. Like they have hearts of stone. And then I brought about um, using their children to get to them and teaching those children service. And you brought about praying to God to calm them, to just help them. Apart from these 2 points that we mentioned, what other what other what other means can we use to get something or make these guys feel obligated to help those below them?
No comments.
No, actually, but basically, what did you just think? Because when
It's just the same way that we acted with the whole EndSars. People should stand up and do something. If you don't like what's happening, like if they're not acting, then you stand up, you protest against it, call to action, just do something, upset, like literally upset them and call them into order. So that's another way you can, get the change you want by not sitting on your asses, by standing up and actually going out to look for the change that, you want.
okay, let's talk about inferiority complex. Why do people feel inferior, and how
Many
can they get
reasons.
out of that?
Many reasons to feel inferior. Maybe, you know, you have more money than me, you're finer than I am. There are plenty of reasons why people can be inferior, or you're not from where I'm from. Maybe you're white and black. I feel, oh, your skin is more beautiful. Yeah, like there are different, or maybe, there's something about me that, I'm not comfortable with. And it's, you get, there are a lot of reasons why people feel inferior. You probably just don't like a feature in yourself, and, it gives you a form of inferiority complex, especially when people make fun of it or something, when you're bullied constantly, you get inferior. Like, there's a whole lot of things that, can lead to inferiority complex.
But then again, why do I feel that your skin is? How do I know that your skin is better than my own?
Go on, go on, go on.
No, actually, basically, I wouldn't say my skin better than yours. Neither would you say yours better than mine. So, like, how?
I'm just saying, those are, just illustrations I'm giving of the case of inferiority complex. I really don't have any justification for why they say what they say, or any understanding of why they think that way, but it's what people tend to say makes them inferior. Those are the experiences from other people that I'm sharing.
Here, this experience from other people, and then apart from experiences like how other people treat us, that need to fit in. I think it creates more inferiority. I think when I was in secondary school, this my classmates that they always brag about having the latest games like for their PS3 and all that. And then I didn't have a PlayStation. And then to try to fit in, I would lie about having a PlayStation that games that I don't even have. Neither have I played. But probably, and then I wasn't really into games and all that stuff. But basically, I think I understood what inferiority could be firsthand. Well, in retrospect, looking at like taking my head back to that scenario, um, why did I actually feel the need to be among the guys with the latest games?
I mean, people like, no one likes to be alone. People don't like to be alone. You like to, align yourself with people who would, help you grow, help you be better. That's just, I feel how human beings are. Human beings don't like to be alone. So in every, setting you find yourself,
And to
you
fit,
like
fit in
to
with the group.
have, yes, you like to fit in with a group. You like to identify with someone. It's a matter of identity, group identity. Like, people have always been kind of indoctrinated towards, having some sort of group identity. That's why people either always want to identify that they are Christians, or they are Igbos, or they are PDP. Like, it's that mentality to have some sort of group.
Yeah, it's actually biological. I was reading a book some days ago, some months ago by Ruby Kaur, Milk and Honey. And there's a paragraph that really like resonated with me. Let me just get the paragraph. That was it. Just a very very short one. In page 54, and she was like, so I didn't want to have you to feel the empty parts of me. I want to be full on my own. I want to be so complete. I could light a whole city, and then I want to have you, because the two of us combined could set it on fire. Wait, let me read this again. Especially the first part. I do not want to have you to feel the empty parts of me. I want to be full on my own.
You want to make yourself
I want to be so complete. I could light a whole city. That's on my own. And then, I want to have you, because the two of us combined could set it on fire. Now, I think this thing just summarizes everything about inferiority complex, because lots of people are not okay with themselves first. So if you're not okay with yourself and within yourself, like, how can you even feel confident? How can you go out there and do things? Because like I think about this thing at the time, like sometimes when I feel any sort of challenged by someone, and I feel like less, I ask myself like why? Like I'm trying to understand what does this person have, basically, that I don't have, or that I cannot work to have, or I cannot get by being consistent. Because like this is a really, really, really deep question and a really deep thing. Because most of us feel inferior for things that are within our control and things that we can get over time with work or consistency or whatever. So why do I really feel not good enough because of this guy said or that guy said? And at the end of the day, like basically we're all the same.
Okay. No, I'm not really trying to, contradict what you're saying or an opposition. I just want you to understand or try to picture something. Now, imagine a dwarf or a midget. Someone who is 2 centimeters tall. Well, I don't know about meters, but I mean, someone quite, yeah. Now, do you blame that person for feeling inferior?
Yeah, what Game of Thrones?
Here's to our queen. Anyone not drinking is disrespecting our queen.
Yeah, what Game of Thrones?
Nah, don't go there. Don't go there. No, that is royalty. No, that is royalty. So apart, people still spit on him. People still spit on him.
Well, the
People
guy
still
never,
rubbish him
ever
because
lost.
no, because he is royalty. Like he knows that nothing any of those people are doing really like they can't act on their
Okay,
words. They
his,
can
his
do
father valued
nothing.
his brother much more than he valued him.
Well, but still get my point though. Like I know you still get my point. You're just trying to.
No, but actually, but look at it. Even in the royal, his father valued his brother much more than him based on his physical attributes. And this guy, for once, never, ever.
Because that one, no, that was a different issue. His own is that, it's not just like there were many other reasons why he was hated. It wasn't just because of, his size. His size was just one of the reasons.
He
He
killed
was
his mother
hated
when.
because he killed his mom.
Oh,
Now,
what does that
that
mean?
was the,
His
that
mother
was
died during
the,
childbirth.
that was the, yeah, but like, that's not how they saw it. That was the thing, like, the fact that everyone else now wanted to, turn him into a demon, a devil, and try to make sure that his life doesn't turn into anything. That was the only reason why, he had to always keep his head strong. But I mean, you can't say he didn't feel inferior because there were even some times that, I mean, when people mentioned it, you will see that he too, it pained him, it hurt him. So you can't say that it's not something that, didn't even bother him. It's just that most of the time he tried not to really think about it or not to give room for it to develop.
Well, not to give room for it to develop. That guy, I noticed that like within himself, he had he was full, he was okay within himself. He had like a certain kind of confidence. Like he felt like he could actually get whatever he wanted by being smart and by reading. Because I knew he read a lot of books,
Yeah.
and even at that little state, like he never felt inferior towards anybody, regardless of him being royalty. Like nobody could make him feel inferior or leave him in that state of I'm short, I'm useless.
But then
Ever.
it was until he grew because if you notice that thing did affect him as a child. So it was until he grew up that or at some point in his growth that he had that change of mentality. So I'm not really trying to say that it's justified, it's valid. I'm saying that there are times where there are things that yes I can actually make people feel inferior, and sometimes some of these things are actually, well, how would I say it, but something to consider. You actually need to consider these reasons because they are quite substantial, or maybe not substantial, but they are things that really, really actually would shake anybody. I don't know if you get what I mean.
Yes, I don't think education plays a main role in people feeling less. Because if you can speak as good as I can, And if you articulate enough to understand things to a certain extent, or to the level that I can, or at least very close to what I can, like, why would you feel less than me? Okay, let's look at it this way. If you see Putin, would you have the courage to talk to him?
So we get there.
Huh?
Who knows? It depends on the setting, depends on what's going on.
But then, if I actually meet that guy, or why wouldn't I have the courage to talk to him? Or what would make me have the courage to talk to him? And not
No,
inside, I'm not like melting.
that's why I say it depends on the setting, it depends on where, what's going on at the moment and everything. You can, like, actually, no matter how courageous you are, you can't just see Putin and walk up to him and talk to him because you're courageous. You can't, like, come on.
Why? But why?
Why? That's a world leader, like, bro. 2 or 3 armed guards would knock you down for the fact of just approaching him without protocol. Like, that is actually the point I'm going for. I'm not, but like, like, there's a setting you would be in. If you see him and you're called up to talk to him, then yeah, in such a setting, I don't think there's anything. Except if, you're now talking of being nervous or, oh, this is, except that, but nah, I think it's just a normal thing, depending on the situation.
There was a podcast I was watching some months ago. It was by Les Friedman and Chamath. Okay, basically, what I picked up from this whole conversation, this guy he kept on reiterating on one thing, that we are all the same thing.
What advice would you give to a young person? You've lived an incredible life from very humble beginnings, difficult childhood, and you're one of the most successful people in the world. So what advice? I mean, a lot of people look to you for inspiration. Kids in high school or early college that are not doing good, or are trying to figure out basically what to do when they have complete doubt in themselves. What advice would you give them?
It is really important that if somebody that you respect, and I'm going to, just for the purpose of this, put myself in that bucket. And if you're listening to this, I wish somebody had told this to me. We are all equal. And you will fight this demon inside you that says you are less than a lot of other people for reasons that will be hard to see until you're much, much older. And so you have to find either a set of people far, far away, like what I did, or 1 or 2 people really, really close to you, or maybe it's both, that will remind you in key moments of your life that that is true. Otherwise, you will give in to that beast.
Like, we are all the same. And that really stuck in my head, because he was saying that way because he grew up from a very, very abusive family. Like, his parents were, like, it wasn't regarded, it was hits and all that stuff. And he still, like, grew up to be successful today. And that even if he wasn't, when he's successful, like, he's happier because he's living a good life. He's made some good money. I think he's a billionaire. He's healthy. He has a family. So, like, all boxes tick: money, health, love. It's good. Now, he was like, even if he didn't make it, and there's one of his friends who grew up in a similar situation like him, mistreated, abused, and he still made it. And whenever he looks at that guy, it's like, if I didn't make it, this guy will make me feel better about myself. Do you get? Because we went through similar situations, similar circumstances, the same dejection, and he still came out as a winner. So, like, if he didn't make it, we'll look up to that guy and feel at ease. That guy's reflection was really deep. Because like most of us, like there are one or two persons that you can relate to their situation, and there are people too that can relate to ours. And then we find comfort in that familiarity. It makes us feel human again. Like we're not the only one in this mess, basically. And then he kept reiterating, we are all the same. The guys that you're looking at as this big figure still drinks water to sustain himself, still uses the toilet. Like the basic human things you do, this guy does them. Still the same blood flowing in his veins. And at the end of the day, like when I heard that quote, we are all the same, it stuck in my head that like whenever I see someone and I feel these guys are anyway bigger than me, I remember that we're all the same. Just like that. And then someone at that level saying that like we're all the same after he has lived through shit. Like it's a different kind of confidence because like he has been through this and he's telling you that everyone is the same. So with this, I really don't know why people should feel inferior and stay that way. You can temporarily, but it's not something that should continue.
You've actually given, the answer to your question. Like the most important thing to do is to just, in teach everyone to, believe that everyone is equal, everyone is the same. Like no matter what seems so special about the next thing, you should just remember that we're all just human and we all have different stories and different lives. But at the end of the day, like the core thing that makes us human is the same. Like it's still the same life. We came into this life to live. And at the end of the day, everyone is still going to die. Like the same way we all came into the world naked and empty, is the same way we all leave the world naked and empty. So whatever we're doing now, it doesn't matter. Like even if it looks like, you're at the lowest of lows, like you're still in profit because for the fact that you're alive and you're still breathing, that's a
You're
profit
healthy.
for you. Because you came into the world naked, empty, and without anything. So the fact that tomorrow you have, that one piece of clothes on your body, that is a profit made in your life. The fact that you have something that you didn't have yesterday. So like every day, everything, every new thing is a
It's an
profit,
addition.
is an addition. Yeah. So you should actually just build that mindset and you see that most of the problems, most of the issues that I bother wouldn't really be a bother.
This sounds so stoic, but then at the end of the day, we live with subtraction.
Well, you live with subtraction, but then those subtractions are still there. Nothing really is a subtraction. The fact that you're paying now for something is because that thing is going to lead you to something else. So it's not really a
Now, when I say
subtraction.
we live,
Your life is a subtraction. You're going to pay now for a vehicle. That vehicle is going to take you to your place of work where you're going to earn 200 naira. So you're still at profit. Or you say you spend 5,000 naira on food and then that food goes into your stomach, makes you grow, makes you bigger, makes you healthier. That is still a profit. So even when people die, like that is still a profit because that is still a profit because whoever was feeding that person doesn't have to and not just that, but
but then
then that is a plus for the earth too because that's
wait.
one less.
Imagine now, I'm the boss, huh? And you're my chef, and you're the one feeding me and I'm paying you, and I die. You're jobless. You're
No,
back to.
not really. The fact that I was working for you, I would have other opportunities somewhere else. A chef isn't a chef isn't someone who even needs to go looking for work. Like these jobs, they look so insignificant, but like people who actually have those titles, they don't need to go looking for job. And even if you don't find a job, there's a whole lot of other things to do as a chef. you don't need any investment to start, selling food on a wheelbarrow, as I said.
Ah,
So
no. Oh, that's not what I'm talking about. that's, not, that's not the kind of chair I'm talking about now. Oh,
no, I get what you mean, but I'm just saying that, I mean, where there is life, there can always
Yes,
be
so
a way. There can always be a way, believe me.
there's this quote in the Bible that like, what does it profit a man if he gains the whole world and loses his soul? Like,
Actually, it gives him the whole world. Like, we should actually get that right. What is the point of losing your soul? There's no point to that. But
what
on
does
the
it
bright
mean?
side, you gain the world.
No, this is also materialistic. Wait, what does it
I
mean?
mean, it is yeah, materialistic, but then that is again too. I mean, look at the hill from up and from down. I'm looking at it from both sides now. You gain the world, you lose your soul. So, yeah, so you can choose to
You need this
gain the
both.
world and lose your soul, or you
Or
can choose to
keep your
gain your
soul
soul, keep your soul,
and
and
give
lose the
nothing from the
world.
world.
Or you can choose to keep it at God's time and, just see which comes when. You see,
But
so
what does it really mean to lose one soul?
um I'm going to add the link of my pastor's church to this video. His name is Pastor Paul Leneche. You can add him on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and ask him that question.
No, actually, I wanted to because like it got this the word they call Faustian Bargain. A Faustian Bargain basically is I mean an agreement in which a person abandons his or her spiritual values or moral principles in order to obtain knowledge, wealth, or other benefits. Now, this Faustian Bargain is basically what most of our
Blood
politicians
money.
in Nigeria are doing during the primaries. I don't want to mention anybody's name. Let's mention of how vulnerable politicians to the primary elections, like in the party to for the person who emerges the running candidate. Politicians in Nigeria, I don't know about other countries or how it works, but here, politicians here pay the party members a lot of money, huge chunk of money, and not with transfer or any banking system. No, they don't want to be tracked. They get the Ghana Moscows. They give over 200, 300 people, 200 to 300 people to vote for them. And these guys who you're paying this money to, their only motivation in this life, in this world, is is money, it's material. They don't have like a bigger vision for the country or anything at all. They are solely motivated by money. Those who are not motivated by money, those who they know that they can't win with bribe or financial gain or anything material, they eliminate them. They like this is not only a Nigerian thing. This is a global thing. The stubborn guys that no, they stick to their values are eliminated. They are killed. While those who have happily decided to sell their soul, they they keep selling their soul and they keep earning money and they keep getting emptier. I think I've not really interviewed or talked to anyone who did everything for material gain. Like, how do you think they feel inside? Like all that you're motivated by is just accumulation of material things. Like, how do you think those people live? How do you think they feel?
Well, I don't have everything, so I can't relate. I can't tell you how they'll feel, but I mean, you never can tell. They might be living a pretty jolly good life. You never know what's hidden behind the curtain. I mean, the reality is that those people, you expect them to be, having other problems that you expect money cannot solve. But I mean, let's just say that their punishment is in the other life. And while they are here on earth, they should just
Enjoy.
live as they, oh yeah, enjoy the fruits of their labor.
Wow. Do you have fruits of labor means?
I mean, even if it's ill-gotten, you still labored. Like a thief is still labored. If you
Uh,
think about it, he still
you
labored.
labeled,
He still put in work.
but you didn't really label.
He did.
Okay.
You know,
Your
some heists take like, you see them guys that did
money
you
heist.
know, yeah, money heist.
A ver, quiero las máquinas funcionando las 24 horas. Como si esto fuera una red de pocholo, ¿sabéis? ¿No? Chiquipum, 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 chiquipum. Cada vez que paramos perdemos medio millón, así que no vamos a parar.
How long did it
Did
take?
they not labor?
Okay, yes, but then
Yeah,
let's
and
say
they
I
reap
point
the fruit of their
but there are
labor.
many types of thieves that do not labor at all. Let me say I appoint, okay, there in Nigeria, you appoint this guy to do a contract, a road contract, and you give him 100 billion, and he takes 50 billion, just puts his pocket, and then gets one funny road company and say, did you, what labor did you do?
I mean, you still put it something.
What did he put?
50.
No, see, why we are like this? Because there's some sort of money that natural resource money is not worked for. That's called lazy money. The guys that own oil blocks and the guys that are in Abuja taking your money from oil, they haven't worked, zero work. This is coming from the ground. Your people are not the people that are even drilling this stuff. You're not employing anybody. The country, the nation has already employed Shell and Schlumberger and they've given, and these guys, by the way, these are profit-oriented companies. They make their huge profit and then they pass the remaining crumbs to the politicians. What label do you think these guys put? I have natural resource sitting here in my country, in just the state. Carry the Shell people, carry the police, go and take as much as you want. Give me back 10% at the end of the day. What are you sell? Like there was no labor there, and they keep accumulating and accumulating. So I'm trying to imagine what kind of life, how satisfactory is such a life? Let's try and imagine.
Someone who always wants to accumulate is never satisfied. So at the end of the day, he always wants to get more. So I mean, that's not the way to live. Someone like that, even when you get everything, you still feel like you have nothing. So I mean, you would keep on stealing, keep on fighting to get those little peas, because it's never enough for you.
And the little piece they accumulate. Okay,
But it will still be little to you,
how?
because I didn't like money that you don't work for. Like that's the same way that it just goes. It goes the same way it comes in. You just spend it on frivolities, on things that sometimes don't really matter.
You know how much money we're talking about?
Yeah, I no
That
like.
kind of money cannot be spent on frivolities.
You think so?
What's it that you want to buy for yourself that you can't already get and still have excess left?
They are really tons way.
Things like what?
Manchi, believe me.
And God, man.
You get person you give 10 million naira, you go finish that money.
No, 10 million is nothing.
Day till
10 million is
tomorrow.
nothing now. 10 million is nothing.
Oh yeah, 1 billion naira.
Okay, so what would
I
you
know
do?
someone who can finish 1 billion naira from now till tomorrow.
What would you buy with it?
Don't worry, give me the money.
No.
first.
What would you buy with it?
Give me the money first. I will finish 1 billion in one day.
In Nigeria,
Yes,
that's
Nigeria.
possible. You buy land. You
Not
buy land,
even-
land in Abuja or
Not
big.
like I'm
one of those
telling you
big
that
hotels.
I'm telling you that not even on profitable things, not on investment. I'll blow 1 billion naira on useless things.
Give examples. I want to know.
Give example. Okay, first off, I mean, if I just get 1B now, I might decide, oh shit, I've never been on a private jet. That's an adventure.
How much do you think that is? 20K,
No, hold
$10,000.
on, bro.
You're
Hold
done
on,
with that.
bro. Hold on, bro. You go pay for. You don't now. That's the thing. You have so much money that you didn't work for. You wouldn't just go and enter from Lagos to Abuja and pay them 20K though. Like you want a trip and then you get a visa. So you want a trip. You want to enter the US. You want to show them. When you now enter the US, you want to live the flashiest of lives. You want to party and you actually travel to the Go there, spend the one
And one day
billion.
you get your visa.
Bro,
And one day you
I don't
you
even
reach
need a
US.
fucking
And
visa. Just
and one day
okay.
you reach US. And one day
Apart, so
you
apart,
get
bro.
the private jet.
Like, think about it. Think about it. If you're trying to be, you're thinking with the mind you have. Think with the mind of someone who hasn't seen money before. Someone who, like, think with the mind of, yeah, an Abero, all these Lagos under bridge boys, and you just give him 1 billion right now. This is someone who actually all he does in his normal day life is just while away, smoke, and be useless. Bro, I'm telling you that that person will first off, okay, maybe will try to buy new clothes and buy 500 pairs of shoes. Yes, 500.
Okay.
Yes, 500. We'll buy 500 pairs of shoes. We'll buy new clothes. We'll now decide, oh, that person won't buy a land, though, mind you. That person will go to Lagos and pay for a hotel to stay for 1 full month. No, I'm telling you, because I'm telling you, this is people that haven't even gotten up to 1 billion. My personal friends, these are things that they have done. They'll just go to Lagos, travel to Lagos, pay for a hotel for a full month. Like, you know that the next meal after you pay might not even be secure though. But like, yeah, they'll make that payment at the moment because I mean, they want to chill, they want to have fun in the moment, and then yeah, with your 1 billion, you go, you pay for like the best hotel that has a penthouse, has everything, minibar, and then you pay for that for not even 1 month. Because I just got the money today, I can decide to pay for 2 months straight at a room that goes for nothing less than 500 grand per night. Now think about that, 500 grand per night times 60 days. How much is that? That's not in billions, but like that's a whole lot of millions. Then you now want to, as remember he's an Abero boy. He'll now want
So
to,
cheap flex on his
no, no,
friends.
no. He will now want to get, the wildest gas that he can afford. And then he now goes and buys Igbo of like 500k again. And he won't just buy once because, I mean, you want to swim in it like you're swimming in the money and you just get a whole lot of it. Then next up, that person goes to party, he enters the club. Tell me you've not seen people spending like
10
500
million.
million, not 10 million,
500
500 million in the
Nigerian clubs.
club. Yes, in the club. Then go buy bottles of booze,
As well.
man. Then go buy bottles, like you pop champagne, you spray money, you throw some money on the floor. That's part of the life. Like, no, like the money you throw on the floor, you also have to think about that. That's also accounted. So like at the end of the day, you can see, like, even when you think about it, there are most of these people, actually real life people, rich people who spend billions every day. So, I mean, it's actually something that, I mean, someone who is watching this video can decide to test me. If I don't spend the money in a day, I promise to refund it to you.
But then, Abdul,
But
don't forget you've never tasted money in your life that much money. So like you kind of at least think next 5 things, let me just let me waste 100 million, let me just keep the 100 million aside for the future. Because you don't want to suffer like you've been suffering all your life.
okay,
And similarly, this is just like the story in the Bible.
that is just another point of view, and you're right, it's true.
Similar story with the guy in the Bible that the man that his harvest was so huge. He had lots of cows, yams, his barns were full, and he was so happy. He said that yes, I will not leave. And in the night, the Lord told him that this night your soul is demanded of you.
But I mean, don't get me wrong, but this story you gave right here is the reason why, personally, I don't deny myself anything. Now, I save, I have like accounts, three accounts actually that are just for saving, and like each one has the specific amount I have to put in every month. So like, if you don't have up to this amount of money, you don't save. So if it's like it's just 10k I can gather in a month to save, then I know this is the account where I can save 10k's. If I was able to save 20k in a month, this, yeah, you get. But then After that is done, now come to everyday life, bro. I mean, if right now I am hungry, you can't tell me to think about tomorrow. No, I'll go and bust that. Like at least, that's why I have three, so that when you use one,
That's it. So left.
before it to get red, you just know that you need to fill this one up before you can do some more spending. But then in the meantime, it doesn't mean that you have to deprive yourself of things that you really need just
Essentials.
because you're thinking of
Not
tomorrow. Like, what if you sleep this night and because of that empty stomach you die? All that money is now going.
But wait, but
to
that's what
where?
that's what sacrifice means basically. And apart from sacrifice, does no, apart from the sacrifice, there's this quote that has stuck in my head for a long time. It goes like this: "A nation is born stoic, but dies Epicurean." Stoic people that they built a nation by grit, blood, sweat, hunger, sacrifice, everything. But dies Epicurean. Epicurean people that are just all about pleasures.
No, I'm not saying be all about pleasure. I'm just saying
Because the few that are going to die,
as much as you want to save, yeah, live every day like it's your last. That's just what I'm saying.
thank you very much for being on my show. To end this, I'll leave us with this quote by Marcus Aurelius: "Anger cannot be dishonest." Thank you for listening.